Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with the Minnesota Association of Realtors. My name is Chris Galler. This morning we're going to talk about the legislative update. Christine and Heather have already briefed you on it, but I want to give you a quick update because it's ready for you to download and look at. On the Minnesota Realtor website, we have the full 36-page document of all the legislative highlights that occurred this session. You'll also be receiving a printed copy of it in the mail in the very near future, but we're in the process of a transition, and that means this year we're going to send you a printed copy. Next year we may not send you a printed copy as we try and reduce some costs on some items that we have in the marketplace. You'll be able to obviously always download the PDFs, and on our website we have a number of legislative updates from prior years so you can kind of track it over a number of years. I'd also like to make sure that you thank Christine Berger, our Vice President of Governmental Affairs, and Heather Mavenkamp, our Director of Governmental Affairs, who both worked and put in countless hours at the legislature on your behalf, and the Governmental Affairs Committee, who put in a lot of hours deciding policy for the association. Inside the 2009 legislative update, you will find a full overview of the taxes, the tax bill itself, all four versions that went through, and other miscellaneous tax provisions, including the first-time monetization of the home buyer credit, which unfortunately failed, but you'll find some of the background in the bill so that you have a good working knowledge to converse with your consumers, your clients, and your friends, because we're the experts and they should know it. The next part that you'll find is a number of issues related to foreclosures and the real estate transaction itself. You'll see in the publication not only the authors of the bill, but the overview of what legislation has and whether or not it passed and who it was signed by and what the dates are. In the foreclosure, you'll also find the postponement of sheriff sale, which was a major change in when the sheriff sale is conducted and some of the reasoning behind that. You'll also find information about the contract for deed and the option to own or rent to own bill that was also looked at by the legislature. Another section in there, we've got about 4 or 5 pages on environmental and land use bills and the legislation that moved forward there, including instrumental legislation on septic systems and the treatment provisions that went forward there. You'll find it on miles traveled and comprehensive planning, where the state legislature would like communities to start looking at miles traveled, basically vehicle miles traveled, and how they're making their plans. You'll also find information on non-conforming lots in shoreland areas, which was actually an issue that's of very interest to a lot of members, and there's a full outline of that legislation in the bill. We've also made sure to include not only the authors but the bill numbers so that you can go on the legislative website and pull down the full bill so that your client, you can explain it to them with our update and you can give them a copy of the law, which is very handy for you, we feel. The next is Department of Commerce legislation that was passed this session. They made a number of changes in Chapter 82, some education changes. There's also the e-licensing bill that was out there, and investigation charges. The Department of Commerce is running short on money, and so now if you are found guilty of an infraction, they will be charging back the costs of that investigation. So another reason to stay on the straight and narrow. And we know the vast majority of you do. And then there's a section in the end about disclosures, miscellaneous bills. Although there wasn't a lot of major disclosure activity this year, there was a bill on methamphetamine disclosure, nuisance disclosure, residential energy disclosure, which did end up in a study, and a radon disclosure proposal that didn't get into legislative. The author agreed to pull it because of the status of the residential industry at this point in time, but we hope to work with her in the future. Miscellaneous bills are in there. Some of the bills that passed, that didn't pass, that have something to do with real estate, but they're not our primary bills, including where some of the stimulus money went, so that you've got a broader overview of where those dollars went in case your clients ask you or if you're just interested on your own behalf. 2009 legislative update, you'll find it on the front page of our Minnesota Realtor website. That's www.mnrealtor.com. Click on it, download the PDF, and expect to see one in the mail in the near future. We thank you for joining us today. Hope you have a great week.